Welcome back, Tankers. Today, I'm going to be looking at the 5 worst grinds in World of Tanks. And before you ask, no, I am not including Artie. Because if I did, they'd be the whole list, the honorable mentions, and the whole video would be about artillery, and I didn't want to do that. No, these are those tech tree disasters that make you question your life choices, your sanity, and why you ever downloaded this game. So let's grab a snack. Probably going to need some repair kits, because these grinds really do hurt more than getting ammo racked at the start of a game. And speaking of getting ammo racked at the start of the game, this actually happened to me. Me versus the new loot box tank. Yep, that happened. So, yeah, that was painful. And first up, I have the Tier 10 tank destroyer, the Badger. If you grounded out the Breaker. Now, if you've been through this line, you already know this grind doesn't just test your skills, it will test your sanity. Now, don't get me wrong. The Badger has incredible DPM. On paper, it has good armor, and in the right situation, this tank will absolutely shred a tank like a microwave shreds Tupperware. Every single time. It's like Wargaming said, let's make a tank so good that the grind to reach it must be an act of suffering in itself, but then forgot to make the tank good. And if pain was a hitbox, it would be the Tortoise. Yes, it has great DPM. Yes, the gun is accurate, but everything else, you're slow, you're huge. Every enemy artillery player in the map or premium spammer just starts frothing at the mouth like they've smelled blood in the water. You can't reposition, you can't run away, this thing barely turns, and if you're trying to play around a corner right here, they're going to shoot you in this gigantic commander's hatch, or if you come around the other way, you have this machine gun port here, right, that says, shoot me. Before the Tortoise, you have the AT line. Tanks in real life that were designed to sit in a bunker and never move, and guess what? That's what it's like to play them in World of Tanks. You're going to lose damage because the battle is over before you get there. You're going to lose credits from all the premium spam you got to do. You're going to lose your brain cells every time a light tank decides to circle around you because your traverse speed basically said no. But if you make it through the AT line, the Tortoise, the Badger, and every artillery player that giggles every time they see you, you've just unlocked a new Tier 11 tank destroyer, the Breaker, and a new level of patience. Next on the list, we have the Super Conqueror, one of the best Tier 10 tanks in the game. It's locked behind a line that's so bad it feels like it's got a personal vendetta against you. The Super Conqueror itself is amazing. Great gun handling. Hold down Ridgeline Monster. The armor actually works. It has good DPM. This tank makes you feel powerful, confident, like you actually know what you're doing, which is hilarious because every tank before it exists for the sole purpose of humbling you. Now, if I was going to look at the British heavy tank line here, I would say it's probably got the worst stock grinds in the game. Look at this, 150 damage, 148 millimeters at Tier 7. This thing can see Tier 9 heavy tanks. And when you upgrade it, congratulations, you still do 150 damage. But hey, you have 171 millimeters of penetration. Have fun fighting that E75. The armor, well, let's just say it's powered by hopes and dreams and has little effectiveness, or really no effectiveness. And your engine, well, let's just say 650 horsepower. It's powered by disappointment. You're going to roll out thinking, oh, this don't seem too bad, kind of a cool little boxy tank. And then you bounce 0 shots, do 0 damage, and get farmed by Tier 8, Tier 9 premium tanks, or, yeah, not fun. And then we have the Carvon, which is technically good. You know, good gun. The engine's actually powered by something other than a steam engine. And, but the thing is this tank is a reminder of why good DPM doesn't always matter when the tanks you're trading with do twice the damage that you do. And when you finally get to the Conqueror, you're like, oh, finally, Tier 9. Maybe this one's going to turn out good. Looks cool. Except you're slow. Your armor lies to you. Your gun handling feels like your crew is actually drunk. And the matchmaker will say, oh, look, British heavy tank. Here's a Tier 10 battle. Enjoy. The Super Conk, it's honestly great because the grind is awful. I don't know, maybe Wargaming just need to like filter out players on this, you know, a sacrifice of your sanity. But honestly, if you're willing to suffer through these stock grinds, spam gold at a depression. desperation, sorry, not depression, but you will be depressed playing this line, and question a few life choices, you are allowed to enjoy one of the best tier 10 tanks in the game with the Super Conk. But just a reminder, if you see someone driving this on the battlefield, just know that they survived trauma getting there. Oh, next we have the Tessac. Now, the Tessac just isn't a bad tank. This tank will make you suffer extensively before you're allowed to have fun. And sometimes it just doesn't allow you to do that. Honestly, the check lines feels like it feels like it's still in beta. Now, the check light tanks are what you get when you give a light tank a medium tank's toolkit. Matchmaker says, cool, you're a light tank. Go spot. Except your view range isn't good. Your camo value is the worst of all the light tanks. And when you fire, your gun just punishes you for using it. So what you got is a tank that can't spot properly, but you can't fight. You just sort of exist in a match. Every light tank outclasses you. When you compare this thing to the EBR, the LT, the Manticore, you're not even in the same ballpark. And as you're grinding, it's not just the premium tanks that are going to be better than you. The tech tree lines are better than you too. So the Tessac just feels like it's just missing something critical at all times. You're slower than the wheels, you're weaker than the track lights, and the way the gun works, it just feels like it turns every engagement in more of a gamble. Now, the line, here's another thing. When you grind to tier 10, it should prepare you for tier 10, that 7, that 8, that 9 grind. But this one just teaches you how to lose XP quickly, get outspotted, and honestly, by the time you reach tier 10, you just really haven't mastered this tank. You've just survived it. So, why grind this line out? Well, honestly, it's because on those rare occasions, you get to do something like this when you have 12 degrees gun depression. And this poor E100 thinks he's safe, and right on the side of the turret. And that's a lot of damage. And that's honestly the sole thing that keeps this thing playable is occasionally you get to have a good laugh. So the Tessac line, look, it isn't hard because it's challenging. It's hard because it's unforgiving, awkward, and unrewarding. This tank, you just don't feel like you're improving when you're playing it. You feel like you're being tested and not in a fun way. Next up, we have the 50B. Now, let me explain to you how the AMX 50B is one of the worst grinds in the world of tanks, even though almost all the tanks in the line are actually pretty good. Yes, this tank grind will break the laws of physics. But here's the thing with the 50B line. It can't decide what it wants to be. You're called a heavy tank, but you have no armor. You're tall. You're fast enough to get in trouble, and every mistake you make will cost you half your HP. So congratulations, you are a medium tank with commitment issues. Now, these tanks are actually pretty good. The AMX 5120 has great burst potential. The 5100, amazing clip potential, 6 rounds at 300 damage, and even the AMX M445, sorry, it is actually pretty respectable tank. But here's the catch with these things. They're just unforgiving. Your armor doesn't save you. Your size and mobility just kind of make it hard to escape a lot of times. So what you end up with is a magazine and anxiety. The tanks in the 50B line kind of have one weakness. They all have long reloads. The gun handling is questionable. And you're going to be constantly thinking, should I clip this guy or will I instantly die? Spoiler, you will instantly die. Now, when you finally get the 50B unlocked, it has huge magazine potential. It has very good mobility. And honestly, the gun handling is very workable. But it never stops being stressful when you're playing this thing. You don't just play the 50B. You're managing risk full time. So why does the 50B line suck? It's not because it's bad. It's because of what the line demands of you. Perfect positioning, map knowledge, magazine management, emotional stability. You can't get mad and dive into the line. No, does not work. In return, this line gives you no armor, no forgiveness, no chill factor. You're always one mistake away from the garage. The AMX 50B grind, it's not because bad because the tanks are terrible. Uh, it's because they expect you to be good before you're allowed to be good. It isn't a grind. It's a job interview for, are you good enough to play this tank? And last on the list, I have the STB1, which may be a bit of a hot take. I don't know. The STB1's probably one of the better mediums at tier 10, which is pretty incredible considering the amount of suffering it takes to get there, in my opinion. The Japanese medium line honestly just can't decide what it wants to be. You're kind of told, hey, they're flexible ridgeline medium tanks. But what you get throughout the entire grind getting to the STB1 are tanks that have no armor, weird gun handling that seem to miss shots that they should hit, bounce shots that they shouldn't. Sometimes it just feels like the pin on them is theoretical, and they all have average mobility. Now, for me, the real pain zone for this line is the tier 8, tier 9. The tier 8, like in practice, you're a medium tank with no armor, no burst, and no forgiveness. I mean, you max out the gun, you do 240 damage a shot. That just doesn't get it done in 2026. And you have, you do one bad peak and you will lose half your HP in this thing. The tier 9, this tank can be a good tank. I want to stress can be, but really it's just a reminder that armor is a suggestion. Gun depression doesn't fix everything, and tier 10 matchmaking, or even tier 9 matchmaking, does not care about your feelings. The STB kind of reminds me of the Super Conk, where the grind is awful, but the end result, you get this incredible tank that's very versatile and can fight in a lot of different situations. And I guess if the grind were, great and fun, everyone would play it. But instead, Wargaming for some reason decided to make the road to it miserable and the end destination incredible. The STB line, it's not a bad grind because the tanks are just useless. It's bad because it demands tier 10 gameplay skills at tiers 7, 8, and 9. It's not a line that you get to learn gradually as you go up. You're either going to kind of adapt to this one, or you're just going to give it up, which is a shame because the end result definitely worth it. So that's my list for the 5 worst grinds in World of Tanks. Let me know in the comments down below. What was your worst experience of a grind in World of Tanks? Did I leave one out? Do you disagree with anything on my list? Let me know. And till next time, maybe I'll see you in a battle.